Hey guys, this is Ghoul. I'm here with the first real beta test Tuesday. The first ones were partially me getting used to recording and kind of figuring out what game I wanted to let's play. But that wasn't my original idea with it. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with, go ahead and get going because we have a bit of a journey ahead of us. My original idea was something closer to a podcast that I did while playing, so... Anyways, today I've booted up Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. This is kind of me, dang it, I don't have my grappling hook yet. This is me just, I'm going to talk about the future of Nintendo a lot today, I figured. I thought it was a pretty fitting thing, and considering how much I used to be a Nintendo fanboy, I figured it would be a thing I could talk about for a good period of time and have some fun with, and hopefully have some interesting ideas on the subject. That's how you jump again. I was going to say, I know you could jump somehow. So yeah, this is Wind Waker. It's my favorite Zelda game besides maybe Skyward Sword, and that's really a tough decision between the two. So I got right before we go to Dragon Roost Island, I figured I'd go through the dungeon for a bit. But there's lots to talk about as far as Nintendo, because everybody with Nintendo has an opinion. And I mean everybody. They did too much, not doing enough, Wii U's gonna be terrible. Oh, nice little pirate's nest over there. Normally I'd probably stop and loot that, but I don't know, ran the beetle. Yeah, I mean, normally everybody has an opinion on what Nintendo's doing right now. They're doing too much, they're not doing enough. You know, they're trying too hard. So I figured I'd go ahead and kind of set the record straight for what I am. And considering how much I used to be a Nintendo fanboy, I mean, I was pretty much a straight fanboy. The only reason I even had a Sony console was for Final Fantasy. So... you know, Nintendo's Power subscriber. I actually subscribed for 2 years at one point. But yeah, basically they've got two new console generations going on right now. Nobody knows what they're doing, and hey, there we go. We're up to Dragon Roost Island. On the horizon, that's our destination, Ghoul. Yes, I did create the save file just for this and ran through Forsaken Fortress, which was not fun. But there we go, Dragon Roost Island. And we get the amazing Dragon Roost Island music. Yes, that is 90% of the reason I chose this place. Alright, so there's Valu, sorry. And he has something we need. So we need to get a jewel called Din's Pearl. Din is, of course, one of the goddesses in Legend of Zelda. So, ask the people of the Rito tribe who inhabit the island here about how to see the dragon. Alright. Forgot, wait a moment. Yeah, we got the Wind Waker now. Alright. Let me get the Wind Waker. So, we get a nice little tutorial segment here. Alright. Yeah, every Zelda game has its own instrument. This was actually one of the more fun ones. Alright. Yeah. Alright, we got the Wind Waker. Woohoo. Alright. So, yeah, I'm going to start off by kind of talking a bit about what's on everyone's mind when it comes to Nintendo lately, and that's the Wii U. So, the Wii U is their newly announced, almost coming to market soon, home console. Alright, cool. Don't think that's necessary for what I want to do, but that's okay. Yeah, here, I'll talk to you now. Cephos, God of Winds. Yeah, I get to control which way the wind blows now, which is important later on, but right now we're going to be doing everything on this island. So, it's kind of fortunate they put that on the first island you go to. And he's gone. So anyways, the Wii U. It's Nintendo's next home console. It's coming out later this year. When, we don't know, but it's pretty safe to assume sometime in November. Probably November 16th. So... Oh. So yeah, November 16th-ish, HD, I'm saying it's slightly ahead of where current gen consoles are graphically. Ouch, that was dumb. So, and everybody has an opinion on the Wii U. It's got some great ideas, and which I'll get into in a little bit, so... I mean, my first impression was, okay, not bad. You know, the big thing is the tablet controller and the fact that it's an actual HD console. It's going to be having Nintendo games on it, which leads to some really exciting possibilities with the two ones that immediately come to mind, because they're still good, impressive graphically on a standard definition console, are Metroid and, of course, the type of game I'm playing right now, Zelda. So, but... that's probably the one of the more exciting things about it, but you look at the stuff, all the ideas behind the Wii U, though, and you wonder, I wonder a little bit what Nintendo's thinking now. Had it come out 3 years ago, it would have been brilliant. I mean, they'd risk having a bit of Sega Genesis syndrome, where they released too many consoles in a short period of time, but the idea with the Wii originally was that it was going to be their flagship console for about 3 years. And then, when HD TVs had more mainstream adoption, they do something with HD power that would be able to blow away the PS3 and the Xbox, and people be rejoicing. That didn't turn out to be the case, obviously, as the Wii went on to become the biggest surprise success in gaming history. Come on. So, instead the Wii goes 6 years. So basically we had an overclocked GameCube running Nintendo's flagship games for about 6 years. About at least 4 years after it should have been. Alright, Postman. My sister's still locked up. So yeah, had Nintendo kind of, as long as they avoided the Sega Saturn syndrome where they didn't release it right after they released another console, or actually, yeah, it was Saturn and Dreamcast that really were kind of the poster child for it, they would have been okay. So they would have had the Wii for 3 years, and for $250, that's really what you'd expect from it, you know, a couple year lifespan, and you move on to a more powerful HD console, and it's not much more expensive. Maybe they even have a loyalty program where you can trade in your old Wii for a new one. I don't know. That was the initial plan, according to most inside sources. Alright, Valu's angry. Yeah. Alright, sorry. I wasn't going to get rid of the cutscenes and stuff, and Zelda games don't really have them skippable anyway. So. But yeah, so the original idea was about $250 50 games, or $250 for 3 years, and then you pay another $300 in 3 years, and you have a HD console on par with the 360 and the PS3. And that didn't happen, obviously, because the Wii wound up being such a huge success. So, problems with Baloo. Just keep them from getting wings. But anyways, so that didn't happen, and now we're just now making up for that. The problem I see, though, is I don't think Nintendo did enough. The console is still barely it's on par with the PS3 and 360, but so what they're basically making a dare on is that the next PS3 and Xbox aren't going to be these mega powerful behemoths, and the multi-platform games aren't going to skip the Wii U. I just don't see it, especially since they're coming to market a year before Microsoft even thinks about it. What are they going to do? I mean, Microsoft knows that if they're going to keep multi-platform games away from Nintendo, they just make a beefy console and it's game over. Sony is not planning to go to market for at least another 2 years, they're saying. In 2 years, bare minimum specs are going to be off the charts. So, you're going to have Nintendo with, the best of 2006, while they're using the best of, say, 2008, 2009. So, yeah, I don't see them keeping multi-platform games for very long. It may help them originally, and had they done this 3 years ago, it would have been brilliant. It would have been hard to argue picking up a multi-platform game on something other than the Wii U if they did even the barest optimization for that controller. I mean, even if you don't like the idea of a touchscreen on a controller or a second screen system, you can't deny that it doesn't hurt. So you're going to get the definitive version of every multi-platform game if they do even the slightest amount of optimization where the frame rate doesn't chug or anything like that. So he's got the pearl I want. Alright, so I gotta go find Medley. So, I mean, they could have done this 3 years ago. They would have had the best multi-console or multi-platform games. They would have had a slightly more powerful system, and they would have been able to go to market at a lower price than the Xbox and the PS3 would have, which would have allowed for greater market adoption. I mean, it just would have been a win-win situation. I think they missed the boat on that because they got a little bit overconfident with the Wii. Alright, I got Father's letter. So, I don't know, I think Nintendo kind of missed the boat on that. Alright, so I gotta deliver this, I gotta meet her at Dragon Rose Cavern. So, I don't know, it seems like a really bad decision to me. So, I mean, they're basically putting themselves behind the 8 ball at a time where investors are already against them. And then on top of that, we have this year's E3, which was absolutely brutally bad. There's just not any other way to put it. I was excited for it, I thought good things could happen, and they didn't. So, I mean, yeah, this year's E3 was not a positive showing for Nintendo. They didn't, there's a term I like to use, and I use it way too much probably, but I like it because I think it really emphasizes what you need to do to gain market share in technology. And the term is hype beasting, and Nintendo has not done a good job at hype beasting with any of the recent consoles. You had this huge mysteriousness about the original Wii. They didn't show the controller or the name, anything when it first was announced. It was the Revolution at first, and all you had was the shape of the thing. You didn't have the controller, so we spent the entire year saying, what could the controller possibly be that's so special Nintendo doesn't want to show it off? You know, and then when they finally show it off, they go, oh my god, what can they possibly name this thing now? I mean, that's called hypebeasting. You get people to want your console. You know, Nintendo used to be like Apple used to do what Apple did is doing really well right now. Nintendo knew exactly where they could cut features and that wouldn't affect them. Like with the original Game Boy, the lack of a color screen meant greater battery life, and they gave it just enough power. You know, the one mistake I can think of is the Virtual Boy, and that was them thinking they could get away with just a red and black display because technology was too expensive. But I mean, just think about all the times that they said, okay, we can get away with, you know, the NES. They said, important thing here is not to market it as a game console. You know, market it as an entertainment system. And it's what Nintendo did really well when they were in their prime. And it's something they don't do well anymore. And it's really sad to say, or sad to see. Alright, trying to remember where Medley goes here. But yeah, so I mean, Nintendo they don't build hype for their new systems. They don't. So I mean, it's not been fun. It hasn't been a good time to be a Nintendo fan. And then E3, they don't announce any good games. They don't. You know, it was just one of those why moments. Alright. Come on. Or I can cheat. There we go. Oops. Oh, we got the wind. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Alright. Thank you. Alright. Okay, so before I keep getting distracted, like I said, I need to work on this a little bit. So, yeah, I got water. So, the game's E3, when the Wii was first announced, they did all this stuff, you know, they didn't show the controller, then when they showed the controller, they didn't show any games, and then at E3 that year, it was just game blowout. Everything was about the games. Alright, let's water these guys. And then this E3, I thought they were going to do something similar. You know, blow us away with games, show us, you know, a trailer for Zelda, a trailer for, you know, a new actual Mario game. New Super Mario Brothers is just not what I'm looking for at this point in a Mario game. But I mean, there's so much they could have done with this year's E3 that they didn't do. Nintendo Land would have been a nice little bonus in another E3. It's not something you can make a centerpiece. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the centerpiece of their E3 was Pikmin 3. And that's a series that I think digressed a lot after the first one. Oops. So, I thought the first one was brilliant, and the second one lost a lot of that charm. There we go. So, I mean, and they didn't show any games for the Wii U that made me go, I have to have that right now. And they made the same mistake with the 3DS. I still don't have a 3DS. I got a Wii at launch, I got a DS at launch, I got a GameCube, an N64, and a Game Boy Advance the year they came out. Whoops. So you have... So, I mean, they didn't build hype at all for it. I mean, there's some really cool ideas. They could have gotten Square to show Final Fantasy 13, where instead of taking forever to scroll through menus, you just tap the command you want to do, and it's faster, and you know, you can go through battles quicker, and it's more efficient or something. I don't know. Surprised me. And they just didn't do it. You know, they talk, I did it again. Wow. They didn't show off what they needed to show, I don't think. You know, there wasn't enough third-party support for it. You know, Mass Effect 3 and Arkham City are great pieces, but they're not going to be... When they've already released on other consoles, you can't make them centerpieces. You have to get Ubisoft to have Watch Dogs for you. You have to get, you know, Atlas to show some Persona 4 Arena on there. You just have to show that you're truly committed to this idea of third-party support, and they didn't do it. I mean, they completely dropped the ball. I don't know what else to say. Normally when I get to see a new piece of technology hardware, I go nuts. I mean, I immediately wanted a Nexus 7 the moment it was announced. And Nintendo hasn't done that with 3DS, and they haven't done it with the Wii U. So, speaking of 3DS, I said I still don't have one. They just came out with a game that made me... They're finally coming out with enough games for it that I want to play it. Or that actually I have to have one. Okay. It's R in this game as opposed to A. You know, and to think it's taken them over a year for them to finally release a killer app for the 3DS, it's mind-boggling. Or boggling. Alright. You were going friend. Ouch! There we go. So, I mean, to think it took him that long to make a killer app, and that was... I mean, Super Mario 3D Land looks good, I'll give him that. And Fire Emblem is coming out next year, that's a, I want game. But it's taken them that long for them to make a game that I'm dying to play? Really? I mean... it's weird to me that I'm just now wanting a 3DS, you know, because there are finally games I want to play for it. I mean, there's some cool ideas with the hardware, but there's nothing really, you know, it's not going to sell itself on hardware. I've seen games for Android that look as good as 3DS games do. They're not as fully featured or anything, but they'll get the job done, and I always have my phone with me. I don't always have a game console, or a handheld game console with me anymore. It's just no longer the most convenient way to play games. So, I don't know. I probably will get one very soon for Kingdom Hearts 3D. Maybe I'll save up some of my internship money. But, I mean, again, I run the same problem where I think I'd almost rather have a Nexus 7 with a quad-core processor and better battery life that I know I'm going to use or take with me than I would for a dedicated gaming console. And this is coming from one of the hardest of the hardcore gamers. You know, you have problems convincing me that it's worth it. How are you going to sell the casual fan that's fine with some Angry Birds on the go as their gaming? I mean, you're just not going to do it. So, I mean, I think handheld gaming really, Nintendo needed to embrace the phones, and I don't know, they'd probably lose a lot of the U.S. market for gaming by doing something like that, as the Xperia Play showed. I mean, it wound up on 2 of the major carriers, and thus it never gained market traction. But I think Nintendo had to find something there. I mean, I know that's going along with the investors, and you know, the app's idea is not a brilliant one is not a good model for Nintendo. I mean, if it was, they would have done it a while ago. But they got to figure something out quick. I mean, because they're losing. I mean, like I said, I used to be a hardcore Nintendo fanboy, basically. And why didn't I jump? This game is not liking me today. Boom. There we go. This should be the dungeon map, I think. Ba-da-ba-ba. So, yeah, like I said before, Nintendo used to be kind of the Apple. They knew how to make things that people didn't know they want, but they sure as hell wanted them. They haven't really done that well since the Wii. I mean, the last couple of years of the Wii have been absolutely embarrassing. I mean, when the only game they legitimately had coming out last year was Skyward Sword. That was it. It was bad. I mean, I didn't have a HD console until Final Fantasy 13 came out, and that was perfectly fine. There are a lot of great Wii games, and I feel bad for anybody that doesn't know that, or doesn't realize what the good Wii games are. I mean, because there really are enough games worth playing on the Wii. I mean, I'm playing Trauma Center right now, almost to kind of prove to people that it's well worth playing. Yeah. Huh. There we go. So, I mean, the Wii was a little marvelous system when it first came out. And they just dropped the ball with support for it. I mean, I wasn't playing DS games, I wasn't playing Wii games. It was really hard to support Nintendo. And then when they refused to localize the games already coming out in Europe, and I mean, that was almost the last straw for me. Was when they said, no, it's okay, we don't need to bring Xenoblade and the Last Story over. I mean, they were already being localized. It's not like it would have cost them anything other than licensing the dub from Europe. So, I don't know, I don't know what Nintendo's doing sometimes. And that used to be a marvelous thing, and now I don't know what it means. Alright. I gotta have a small key, I guess. I need to figure out I need to be able to set those off somehow. They're not gonna explode inside. No. Ooh, I got an idea. Don't know if this will work. that wasn't my idea. It's been a while since I've played this, as you can probably tell, because I have burned myself on lava more times than I have in ages in any game not named Mario. There we go. I can't believe that just happened. Alright. One of these has to have a heart in it. Alright. Oh well, screw it. So, yeah, anyways, that's what I think is kind of going on with Nintendo right now. They've kind of dropped the ball lately, and I don't know if they know how to get it back. I mean, Miyamoto-san basically invented half of the modern games people play today. Oh. So I just went back where I was. I mean, he invented the top-down action game when he made the original Legend of Zelda. He pretty much created the 2D platform with Donkey Kong and then perfected it with Mario. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong with Nintendo. Maybe they're kind of like they were right at the end of the GameCube life cycle, where people were down on them, and they just, you know, and they're about to just figure everything out and blow us away. You know, I mean, there actually are a lot of similarities right now with what Nintendo's doing then and what they are doing now. Where's that? Oops. Alright, please be able to break you. No? I guess I set you on fire then? There we go. I mean, they've got one premier studio. Back then it was Rare, and now it's Retro. They've got Miyamoto, who is the biggest asset in gaming. I think they need to get Miyamoto off the Mario and Zelda series, though. And I know that sounds like heresy, but let Retro have a go with Zelda or something, and let Miyamoto get back to creating new franchises, because the guy has basically created pure gold. I mean, Pikmin would be a huge success. If it was the only game that a developer had ever created, they'd be remembered pretty well. And Pikmin's is relatively unsuccessful for a Shigeru Miyamoto IP. You know, let him get inspired. You know, I'd like to see him take a go at JRPG, but then again, everything I think the key is to go to a JRPG. But I'd like to see what his take would be for a JRPG. I'm not talking about, you know, Paper Mario either. I'm talking if he sat down, found the mechanics in a JRPG that he thought were good in the genre and what needed to change, and see, because what Miyamoto does better than anyone else is keep the game playable and fun without overbogging it down with stuff. I mean, now granted, he does have his weaknesses. He's not exactly the guy you go to if you need a amazing story that's going to just, you know, rewrite the book on video gaming. He's not that guy. But he pioneers so much and so well that I can't believe he's been working and just mentoring franchises for so long that we really haven't heard much of him, other than, okay, this is the new Mario game we're working on, this is the new Zelda. I mean, New Super Mario Brothers is pretty much self-sustaining. But yeah, I guess, you know, I think that he needs to get, you know, some time away, give him a personal development team, and just let whatever happens happen with him. So. Interesting. I don't think I've ever done that before. So, but yeah, I don't see Nintendo doing as well in the future as they have recently. I just think they haven't learned at all from what they needed to. And honestly, I think Apple learned a lot from Nintendo back in the day. I said that before, but I mean, think about what Nintendo was good at in their prime. They made pretty solid hardware. They made them powerful enough in the right areas where people wanted to buy them, and they put the emphasis in the right areas. Like I said, I mean, Miyamoto wanted one thing with Mario, and that was solid control. And I don't think anybody would argue that Mario isn't the gold standard for platforming control. I mean, he's just that much better than anyone else. I just went in a circle, didn't I? I mean, I love the Donkey Kong Country series. I'll admit the platforming controls in Donkey Kong are not as tight as they are in Mario. Sonic I love as well. Same thing. So it'd be interesting to see where they go with in the future. I mean, what? Okay, good to know. Although I'm going to share bait with filthy thieving rats. Did they really put a key right next to a locked door? No, it's probably the grappling hook, isn't it? The compass? You gotta be kidding me. Alright, let's try this again. Set you on fire, and... Ooh. Haha, there we go. That's what I needed to do. So... yeah. But no, I mean... anyways, I think that's probably enough on Nintendo. I think I'm just going to go ahead and enjoy the rest of this. So things I'd like to see from the Wii U. I'd love to see this redone in HD. I mean, you can look and there's some really bad jaggies around the edges for curves. I mean, and if you look at pictures of this just upscaled to HD, they're gone. I mean, that's not even a ground-up remake, and that's with standard definition textures. The game looks that much better. I mean, just by trying to do polygons. Oh, shoot. Climb up, climb up. There we go. I'm having a hard time with ledges today, aren't I? Alright, let's see here. 1, 2. Ouch, that was dumb. Don't know why I always try to roll upstairs now. And don't ask why birds moo in this. So, I mean, see this redone. Especially if they added, like, say, Skyward Sword's combat to it. So I'm not just basically tapping the B button in areas. I mean, if there's one thing, old school Zelda, I mean, the combat works in this, but it's not nearly the fun experience and engaging experience it is in Skyward Sword. I mean, just something about the combat in Skyward Sword, it completely destroys every third-person action game out there that tries to do swordplay. As dorky as it is when like runs, it really makes the game when you control the fighting like that. So, and I was actually ridiculously skeptical of Skyward Sword too. Alright. Ah, there we go. I still don't have the grappling hook yet. That's right, those warp you. I remember now. So yeah, I see this remade would be great in HD, but I don't know. I'd like to see Nintendo try something different. I want to, like I said, I want to see them go for something, a new franchise. Gotta love early game enemies where you can just walk up and absolutely wail on them with no problem. Alright, let's climb on up. Alright, up. So, anyways, I also suppose I could use this as a opportunity to announce something. It's probably already... I'm not going to upload this until I see this from JB himself, but JB and I have been working on a little bit of a project lately. Alright. So we have actually started a co-op Let's Play of Resident Evil 5, and hopefully we wind up it is something fun to watch. I've had a lot of fun playing it. I think I could take the game a little more seriously than I do, but at this point, but it works in... Alright. This has got to be the grapple. Treasure chunk. Really? There we go, goodbye. Alright. So there's one entry and one exit. I remember this room. I think there's a switch somewhere. So yeah, we're doing a co-op Resident Evil 5 Let's Play. So I guess I can move on to some more miscellaneous news. You guys should enjoy that. It'll be it's a lot of fun to play, and hopefully it's just as much fun to watch. So in other news, Verizon is still an evil corporation that I will not be renewing my contract with once I'm done with my next 2 years, and I would encourage you to not do the same. So those guys managed to get Samsung to do something they'd never done before, and that's lock the bootloader on a phone. If you don't know what that means, it means that you a locked bootloader allows you to throw custom ROMs on a phone, and if you so it's kind of a big deal if you like rooting and ROMing and all the fun goodies that go along with it, like the fact that I'm running Jelly Bean before the source code for it's even released, let alone waiting for a manufacturer to decide that it's time for Jelly Bean to make it to my phone. So I mean, there's some really cool things you can do with an unlocked bootloader that you can't do without it, and for a company that's basically a data pipe to say you can't do that, it's infuriating. You know, I mean, that's what Verizon is to me. They are a way for me to get the internet on a smartphone. I am having a whale of a time with this. So yeah, when a data pipe tells me, no, you can't do that, it's like if, like, say, Comcast said, Okay, you can browse the internet, but only if you use a computer running Windows or something like that. I mean, it's really bad. It has to be Windows with a dual-core Core i5 processor with 4 gigs of RAM. It's frustrating, it's not fun, it's annoying, and there's no reason for it. You void your warranty the moment you unlock your bootloader, so it's not like... So as long as they say, oh, bootloader's unlocked, no warranty for you, they don't have any reason to complain there. If they honor a warranty on a phone with an unlocked bootloader, that's their problem. Wow, I thought I was going to land in the lava again. Boom. Hey, we got another one of those guys. So, yeah, it was one of those things that Verizon seems to do solely for the purpose of taking me off. And they've done very, very good at that lately. So, yeah. My next phone will be an off-contract Nexus bought straight from Google if they still have that program when I'm doing it. Man, Baloo is pissed. Uh-oh. Sky Sanctuary. Alright. And Medley gets captured, of course. And my mic fell. My mic has a nice little thing so you can collapse it, which also means that I have to keep something slightly heavier on my lap. So, I apologize if my audio quality is kind of terrible. Why won't she die? There we go, he's gone. Alright. Yeah, skull necklace. For killing a Moblin. Oh, I missed that. Oh well. Alright. So we have some things attacking Baloo's tail. That's gotta be controversial. These guys are evolved. It's actually really cool how they do some of the stuff in this game. Like, that's a Zora 200 years in the future, or however many years in the future, or whatever. They evolve wings and can fly rather than being swimming creatures. It's a really, really cool idea to see them evolve their characters like that without really any prompting from fans. There wasn't anybody kind of clamoring, hey, it would be really cool if you did that. It was, I don't know, I love the Wind Waker, this game, pretty much. Like, if you look, Link's eyes, I can't get him to do it here, of course, but Link's eyes give you hints on where to go next. He's got there's so much personality in all the characters, and it's a shame that people wrote it off because of the art style, and I almost did, actually. When I first saw the art style, I thought it was a cruel joke. And you have a big bug-eye Link with tiny legs, and you know, it didn't look like what you thought it was in the Zelda game for a next-gen console was going to be. You expected what Twilight Princess later came to be, this dark, gritty, epic journey. grappling hook. So yeah, I thought it was actually a cruel prank when I first saw it. I will say Nintendo was very unique in the GameCube cycle. You couldn't blame them for not trying to be different. Oh, that's right, I gotta cut down the rope, don't I? There we go. And I almost went into the lava again. So I'm trying to think if there's any other major news lately. Not really. I apologize for the long delay between videos. I got stuck without any access to recording devices or... There we go. So I got stuck without access to recording devices, which made a nice long car ride a lot worse since I didn't have. Normally I would have had a PSP, a DS, and a tablet with me. And I got to make do with a... Interesting little jump there. So I had to make do with DS, a new copy of Recoded, and N64 with Majora's Mask. So, gotta say, Recoded was a lot better than I expected it to be, but I'd heard some pretty big horror stories too, so... I think it would have been hard for them to make it worse than some of the stories I'd heard about it. So... But, gameplay, I thought it was very solid. The story was kind of pointless, but it wasn't the total clusterfuck Kingdom Hearts 2 was. So, I mean, that's a positive. I know it's... We went from being, you know, great, or going from clusterfuck to, okay, story isn't going to destroy the series, but... Alright, where's it? Oh. Oops. Don't think I was supposed to kill him. There we go. I remember this part now. Yeah, we're going from, oh, it's not a total clusterfuck to being okay. But really, it wasn't that bad. So, the story was nonsensical, but at least some of my favorite characters got a little bit more time. So I love Naminé and Roxas, and for obvious reasons, if you know the series, you're not going to see much more of them. So it's good to see them again for a little bit. You know, there's probably some minor spoilers. I'll probably, they're really minor spoilers, though. It's not a huge deal. I mean, I guess you probably guess that you'll see something But anyways, it'll be interesting to see how Dream Dot or 3D winds up fixing. I mean, because they've started to really perfect Kingdom Hearts' combat since Kingdom Hearts 2. I thought, much like how Phantasy Star Zero went back to Phantasy Star Online from the Phantasy Star Universe gameplay, I thought that they did a good job of being smart with going back to their roots for... If you look at the combat system for 358 over 2 days, it's very, very similar to the original KH, or Kingdom Hearts in feel. So I thought they did a good job with mixing it up with that. There we go, good timing. So I mean, they got that right there, and then they, much like how Phantasy Star Portable 2 managed to kind of perfect the combination of the two. Birth by Sleep managed to perfect the two, and then they're even building on that now. Really solid foundation to build off of, so hopefully there'll be some good things coming from Kingdom Hearts in the future. So, also I got Resonance of Fate and Valkyria Chronicles, and I'm loving the latter. I played only 2 chapters of it, but it's been 2 chapters well spent. This recording is going on an hour. I was hoping I could beat the island in about 45 minutes, so... Yeah, these are going to be a little longer. And they're more... The original idea of the Beta Test Tuesday was to make it a bit more podcasty and do something, whether you watch me play or not, you just kind of can throw it on and listen to me talk for an hour. And maybe I just gratify myself talking for an hour and nobody really watches it. Who cares? So... And honestly, I haven't done a great job of doing either, I think, in this, but I think I've gotten better as it's gone on. But I think I should have talked a little bit more and found a game where the cutscenes weren't quite so prevalent. So, but it's a work in progress. I'm still trying to figure out a style that works well for me. So I'm sure my other Let's Plays are doing okay, but they're not great, so... I mean, I'm pretty proud of... Oh! I know another thing. I have a personal milestone for the channel. I had my first video with 100 views. That's actually video game related. Unlike, I did have a couple videos that had, I had a video with 250 views on this channel, but that's because I wound up, people were very interested in the Galaxy Nexus when it first came out. Nice little preview video got me, 252 views, which I think is funny that it's still my, top video. Alright. You're gonna do all that. Aw, man, I wasted the fairy. Alright, boss time. So, I remember the first time I did this boss. It took me forever and I didn't even kill him. We have its tail sticking through a crack. Which is pretty dumb anyway, you'd think. If you're getting attacked by something, you'd pull your tail up, but apparently Valu's not terribly smart. And you are one ugly thing. Key to this battle is Valu's tail is a hookshot grip. And whenever you hook onto it, it drops a giant rock on the boss's head. He then shoves it right back up. You see Valu's tail right there, lowers in. And you just do the same thing a couple times and it's pretty much game over. So, but if you don't realize that Valu's tail is a hookshot thing, it'll take you a while to figure out how to take this guy down. Hi. Getting up close and personal, aren't you? Now the boss fight starts in earnest, where I can just absolutely pummel on the guy. Really? You're going to turn? Takes you that long to turn around? Yeah, just lasso him in like Indiana Jones and go to town. Easy fight, but a fun one. Well, I think an hour and a minute or so is plenty of time for this beta test Tuesday. So as Goma's eye explodes in front of me into a heart container. This is cool. I'll see you guys next time.